Today, we'll be reading the first chapter of Bret Easton Ellis's controversial novel, American Psycho. That I look like Bret Easton Ellis is just a pleasant coincidence. This text has a notorious reputation for the graphic violence depicted within, but it also raises the question, did this violence actually occur, or was it all in Patrick Bateman's mind? And does it matter? The title of the first chapter is April Fools, which could allude to April 1, the date this scene takes place, or when you believe something for a short time, then find out it isn't true. Let's start with the first sentence. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here, is scrawled in blood-red lettering on the side of the chemical bank near the corner of 11th and 1st, and is in print large enough to be seen from the back seat of the cab as it lurches forward in the traffic leaving Wall Street. And just as Timothy Price notices the words, a bus pulls up, the advertisement for a Les Miserables on its side blocking his view. But Price, who is with Pierce & Pierce, at 26, doesn't seem to care, because he tells the driver he will give him $5 to turn up the radio, Be My Baby on WYNN, and the driver, black, non-American, does so. That's a long sentence. Also, 11th and 1st is nowhere near Wall Street. But here we meet Price. Is he the main character? We get a lot of facts about him in this first sentence. I'm resourceful, Price is saying. I'm creative, I'm young, unscrupulous, highly motivated, highly skilled. In essence, what I'm saying is society cannot afford to lose me. I'm an asset. Price calms down, continues to stare out the cab's dirty window, probably at the word fear sprayed in red graffiti on the side of a McDonald's on 4th and 7th. Okay, there is no 4th Avenue and 7th Street, and there's a 7th Avenue and 4th Street, but that's on completely the other side of town than 11th and 1st. I mean, the fact remains that no one gives a shit about their work. Everybody hates their job. I hate my job. You've told me you hate yours. What do I do? Go back to Los Angeles? Not an alternative. I didn't transfer from UCLA to Stanford to put up with this. I mean, am I alone in thinking we're not making enough money? Like in a movie, another bus appears. Another poster for Les Miserables replaces the word. Not the same bus, because someone has written the word dyke over Eponine's face. Like in a movie. Okay, perhaps this jumping from one part of the city to another is a way of framing the pacing as a movie, or maybe the narrator is dissociating. Also notice that Timothy Price is then Price and then is now Tim. And it's about here that the narrator goes into the exhaustive listing of consumer brand names that this book has become famous for, just as Price launches into this manic rant. Whoa, wait, more Nazis, gridlock, baby sellers, black market babies, AIDS babies, baby junkies, building collapses on baby, maniac baby, gridlock bridge collapses. His voice stops. He takes in a breath and then quietly says, his eyes fixed on a beggar at the corner of 2nd and 5th. 2nd Avenue and 5th Street is completely on the other side of town, but back toward Wall Street. And then here's the first detailed description of clothing brands that we'll see throughout the book. Followed by pan down to the post, which is more movie language. Some more ranting from Price, where he finally refers to the narrator as Bateman, and then suddenly Upper West Side. We learn that Price is on steroids, which accounts for the manic ranting. Then we arrive at their destination, Evelyn's house, for dinner. As the narrator steps from the carnage he has described into a brownstone on the Upper West Side, he finally refers to himself as I, on page 8. We meet Courtney and then Evelyn, who are wearing the exact same thing. These are very specific, very expensive clothes, and these are women of a social standing where they would just go and change if by some coincidence they turned up in the exact same clothes. This is the biggest indicator so far that Bateman's litany of brand names isn't actually describing what he's seeing in front of him. So people are there for dinner, not Price's fiancée though, and there are two downtown artistic people to provide some friction. And it's at this point that Evelyn, Bateman's fiancée, refers to him as the boy next door. This gives us some objective viewpoint about how the world perceives him, an average everyman. Nothing offensive, but nothing that's exciting. And then on the next page, Price and Evelyn have snuck off to have sex in another part of the house. When Evelyn and Price return to the table, there's some stilted conversation with the artistic couple. Bateman attempts to engage Price in a discussion about foreign affairs. Price ignores him, and then Bateman goes on for more than a page about all the issues facing the world, both foreign and domestic. Is this a counterpoint to Price's lengthy rant in the cab? Is this response to all the stress he's feeling? And then within one paragraph, we go from people leaving the house to Bateman and Evelyn and Price hanging out in Evelyn's bedroom. The litany of brand names starts again at this point. And again, Evelyn refers to Bateman as the boy next door. And again once more. But this time, Bateman says, "I'm a fucking evil psychopath." And he's ignored by Price and Evelyn. Also note that Price is referred to by Tim, Timothy, and Price by Bateman as narrator throughout this scene. Evelyn and Price continue to flirt. I am fairly sure that Timothy and Evelyn are having an affair. Timothy is the only interesting person I know. Here, Bateman is trying to justify to himself why his fiancée is having an affair. And he asks Evelyn, why don't you just go for Price? He's rich, he's good-looking, and has a great body. Evelyn, setting up one of the main themes of the book, notes that everyone is all these things. And then Bateman draws Evelyn's attention to his rock-hard and halved and bronzed and defined abdomen, which, if you remember, is similar to how Price described his own stomach. But Evelyn is unimpressed. You know, you can always be in better shape. Is Bateman also deluded about his physical appearance? Evelyn has referred to him as a boy next door who could be in better shape. Bateman then goes home and listens to his subpar jukebox and masturbates. So, to summarize, we have Bateman, an average guy with a Wall Street job who considers whether he should bring flowers to his fiancée's house for dinner and is well-versed on world events. He's surrounded by the despair of New York City street life and the immorality of those in his social circle. He started to dissociate and has developed at least one unusual coping mechanism. My theory is that all the violence and gore that's depicted in the novel is all in Bateman's head and didn't happen in reality. But does it matter? Society seems to accept both versions as normal and just moves on. I remember when this book first came out, there was a huge uproar about the graphic violence that happens in its pages. You know, you shouldn't believe everything a privileged white guy tells you. Thank you for coming to my lecture. Please like and subscribe.